Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Flyer Nation, our weekly look inside Lewis University athletics. I'm John Fitzgerald. Topic of conversation this week, Flyer men's and women's soccer, as both programs getting set to embark on the postseason as the Great Lakes Valley Conference tournaments kick off this Sunday afternoon. It was really an outstanding week for Flyer athletics. The 21st ranked women's volleyball team ran their winning streak to 5 straight, with wins over Southwest Baptist and Rockhurst this weekend at Neal Carey Arena before disposing of Illinois Springfield on Tuesday night 3-1 down to the state's capital. Flyer men's and women's swimming squads swept a dual meet at Illinois Tech on Saturday. Women's bowling finished in second place at the Valparaiso Classic, and men's tennis closed out their fall slate with some impressive performances at the NIU Invite in DeKalb. But as we mentioned, we are talking soccer today. Joining us, women's head soccer coach here at Lewis University, Chris Koenig, whose club will open the GLVC conference tournament this Sunday in Springfield, Missouri, against second-seeded Drury. And Coach, we'll start right there. First of all, congratulations. Third conference tournament appearance over the last 4 years for your program.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, we're excited. Obviously the goal is to get to the postseason and compete for a championship. When you get here in August, that's what you're working for. So exciting week and a lot of preparation to get ourselves ready for Sunday.
Obviously a quick turnaround going into the postseason. It was a situation, talk a little bit about the psyche of this ball club. You guys had won 4 straight, really had to close out the regular season 2 excruciating losses, one in overtime, the other one on Sunday, a lone goal. The difficulty of kind of regrouping going into the postseason, while you do know it's a brand new season too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the thing to keep the team focused on, and they've actually done a great job of it. I think Friday was a tough result, but that's the sport. Sometimes you have to get through the full 90 minutes, and every time this year we had a weekend probably a month ago where we slipped up. And our resolve, we came back that next weekend with a big win over Rockhurst, big win at William Jewell to kind of put ourselves in this position. So I'm excited where they were yesterday, our first day back, got into the film room and started prepping for this weekend. So they're in a good place.
It's funny, everybody kind of takes a look at the schedule on paper and says, oh, everything's back to normal. It's fall, it's soccer season, normal conference tournament time come November. But the fact of the matter is, the unreally thought about concept is that this is the second full season your squad is playing in really 1 calendar year, having played last spring.
Yeah, and that's I think where it's worn on everybody across the conference.
Sure.
I think it's unusual to go a full year. Obviously, we had the break over summer, but yeah, I think more from a physical standpoint, we had a couple injuries in the spring that we knew weren't going to be able to play this fall, which was forced us to make some adjustments. But the team's done a great job of kind of getting back and refocusing on a new year. And obviously spring was a challenge with all the COVID restrictions and kind of getting into a preseason in February. But they reset over summer and came back with a really, really strong focus. So I've been impressed with the way they've handled some of the adversity.
You mentioned some of the injuries that occurred over the spring season. Talk a little bit about some of the players who've really kind of come to the forefront this fall in an effort to fill the gap of some of those injuries.
Sure. Well, so I think one of the things that's been great about this team has been the leadership. Starting in the backfield, Abby Gustafson moving to central defense and playing that role for us this year, which was a change for her. Maddie Levin's another captain, has been a kind of the most consistent ball winner in the middle of the field and voice. And recently, I would say as the year has progressed, we've had the ability to score goals, but Callie Haveka-Vanderplau has just 7 goals, 7 assists, I think is her stat line right now. So both in terms of creating her own opportunities, she's been great both in that aspect, and then also getting the ball to other players and making the right decisions. So our seniors, Miranda Neer, she's another one. Caitlin Shanahan in the back. Our seniors have really been the ones who have kind of steered this ship this year.
It's a incredibly tough conference year in, year out in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. As you go into this especially throughout the regular season, we've seen that any team can beat anybody. You guys all played very difficult non-conference schedules for the most part. Handicap the tournament field moving forward over the next couple of weeks.
Well, that's a tough question because honestly, and you could see this over the last several years when you get to the postseason, I think anybody honestly believes that any of these 8 teams has a chance to win a championship. Having said that, the last couple of years, McKendree has kind of separated themselves. They've had another strong year. They're nationally ranked. Drury, the last time they were in town for our game against them, they were nationally ranked. They've had a good year. So you kind of see how everybody's been seeded out based on their results in conference, and it's difficult to put up those types of marks in conference. But I think once you get to this point, everybody has a week to prepare, and I think they're going to be. I think across the board, every one of these games is going to be tight games.
This will be your 6th conference tournament appearance. As we said, 3 out of the last 4 years you guys have advanced to the GLVC conference tournament. As you go into this and as you have built this program up over that tenure, what are some of the biggest selling points you found for Lewis University that resonate with your student athletes that you recruit?
Yeah, so from a recruiting standpoint, I think we really do offer an unbelievable balance between what we do on the field and what they do in the classroom. The term student athlete gets thrown out a lot, and I really do think that you have a chance to be a student athlete here. There's support from an academic standpoint. We're fortunate to be able to recruit really good students who can play at a high level, and that's the other side of it that these players want. They want to be able to compete for championships, and so it's great balance, very family atmosphere. And an opportunity to excel on the field. So it's a good match for somebody who's looking to do both at a high level.
Coach, best of luck this weekend. Appreciate you stopping by.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Flyer women will play their opening round match this Sunday afternoon down at Springfield, Missouri, as they take on second-seeded Drury. That's Flyer head coach Chris Koenig, as their ball club will open up the tournament this coming Sunday. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk with Flyer men's head coach Evan Fiffles as Flyer Nation continues right after this. Welcome back to Flyer Nation. We're now joined by the winningest head coach in Lewis University men's soccer history, Evan Fiffles. As the Flyers enter this weekend's GLVC tournament as the number 4 seed, they will host 5th-seeded Drury on Sunday afternoon at Lewis Stadium. This will be the Flyers' GLVC record 33rd conference tournament appearance and the 25th in 29 years for Coach Fiffles. Coach, this postseason thing's kind of old hat for you, isn't it?
Oh, it never gets old. It never get old. That's what we play for. So if we're not playing postseason, we're all disappointed.
You guys really got off to a slow start in conference play. 2-3-1, I believe, to begin the conference slate. Haven't lost in your last 8, 7-0-1. You've had 6 clean sheets on the year. It's really been an impressive run, and they talk about coaches wanting to get their teams to be playing solid ball at the right time toward postseason, and your team has done exactly that so far.
Yeah, we're excited. Like you mentioned, we didn't start off well. We were giving up a lot of goals. I want to say, just off the top of my head, maybe in those first 6, 7 games, we probably gave up about 10 or 12 goals. So we knew that we had to go ahead and solidify the back. If we're going to have any kind of season, we need to go ahead and keep the ball at the back of the net. We knew that we could score. I think we only been shut out 1 time all year. So I knew the goals were going to come, and we have players that could go ahead and create and score goals. But that big question there in the first 2 or 3 weeks was the defense and how we're going to go ahead and solidify that.
Going into the conference play, after that slow start, going 7-0-1 down the stretch in your last 8, the opportunity to get that first round home match, how important is that in a conference that's really so spread out? Where going on the road isn't just a 2-hour trip in a lot of instances.
Yeah, like you mentioned, we want to be playing our best ball. So our mentality was not to go ahead and get into the tournament. We want to go ahead and be playing our best ball and string. Because if you win a championship, you have to go ahead and win 3 games in a row at that point for the tournament right there. So I think we've kind of proved that in the last month that we're able to do that. I think nobody else, I think the number 1, 2, and 3 all lost this past weekend right there. So it obviously doesn't guarantee us anything Sunday, but we want to be playing our best ball. So that's something that we don't specifically say, hey, we'd rather be at home and away. Obviously that's going to be, a natural thought right there, but it's just, can we on the road, at home, whoever we're going to play, are we playing our best to give us our best chance to go ahead and advance?
How'd you guys make that change kind of midstream in conference play? You finished the regular season now all the way up in 4th in goals against. As I said, you got the 6 clean sheets on the year. Your defense and goaltending has really come to the forefront, hasn't it?
Yeah, Sebastian he has been playing really well, but this past weekend had 2 great games. The one against Maryville came up with a couple of big saves. But it's just, when you're struggling and giving up goals, it's just, you got to go ahead. We had a couple of personnel changes, and then it's just, repetitions of just going ahead and just working together. So we have some guys that haven't worked together at that point, and it took them some weekends to go ahead and get into that kind of rhythm and understand and play off each other, and that's kind of, we've seen that in the last month that they're able to go ahead and do that now.
You talked about the fact that early on you guys knew that you would be able to score goals from an offensive standpoint. And you've got a ton of firepower. Ends up 3 of the top 10 scores in the regular season are all Lewis Flyers. So it's a balanced attack that I would think makes you really difficult to defend against going into tournament play.
Yeah, we knew we had our leading goal scorers coming back from the spring, and then some of the recruits that we had coming in that we added, we knew we were going to go ahead and help too. So we don't have to rely on 1 guy or 2 guys. We feel that, in our 5 attacking positions, that we could go ahead and get, production out of all 5 of those positions. And we have some depth in those positions too. So it's just, if somebody's not injured or not on at that point, we have players that come on in off the bench and give us some quality time right there. So that's helped out a lot.
The 8-game unbeaten streak that you have to finish out the regular season obviously invokes a huge sense of confidence, maybe even a little bit of swagger for your guys as they take the field. Is that something you pretty much just let ride going into the postseason, or is it more of, let's stop a second, it is a brand new season, one and done? How do you kind of go about motivating your guys from that standpoint, or in some cases maybe even reining them in a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question, because as a coach, you're always one side of it or the other side. At that point, we want them to continue to have that kind of swagger. I mean, on Sunday, the first half, we put a clinic on, and it was, you don't want to go ahead and kind of stop that in a sense, but at the same point, at the halftime, I said, we have another half at that point. So I think it's that kind of same mentality. We want them to continue to have that kind of swagger and to go ahead and have that confidence, but at the same time, they have to understand that, it is a new game. It's a new season at that point. Drury is going to come in, and they want to extend their season by another game at that point. So by no means is it going to be an easy task at all. It'll be a very difficult game for us on Sunday.
Obviously, the winningest head coach in program history coming into this year. That's only advanced this year. As you have built this program and achieved tremendous amounts of success, both at a regional, national, and conference level, what is the program aspect that you really sell to the student athletes?
I think it's a culmination of a lot of things. Obviously, it's a great university, and we have great academic programs. So that is always number 1 at that point right there. And then we go ahead and just the competitiveness of the league. In the last time they had postseason, we had 3 teams in the Sweet 16. So we, year in, year out, our teams that come out of the league are ready because of that competition. And that Friday, Sunday game, there's no easy games at that point right there. And then obviously location, so it's a culmination of the 3 right there, the academics, the competitive league, and then the location, and we're able to attract, top players in the Chicagoland area.
The confidence obviously needs to be high for this ball club as they've played so well going in, but as you look ahead, not only this Sunday, the following round, the following weekend, and then possibly into the NCAA tournament. How do you think this ball club stacks up, or what changes do you need to see happen for this ball club to make a run in the postseason?
I would say probably about the last 4 weeks since we started this run, I've expressed to them that we could go ahead and compete with anybody in the country on any given day. It's just what we decide to go ahead and do offensively and defensively, and go ahead and continue to work on our strengths and our weaknesses at that point. So we feel, I mean, our mentality is always we're playing for championships. So we feel that we could go ahead on any given day, beat anybody in the country. So that's going to be our mindset. You know, it doesn't matter if they're 8th seed or whatever their record is. Sunday we're going to have the mentality that we want to go ahead and, you know, get the W and get the result. And that's the only way that's going to come about is by us executing things that we've worked on and just grinded out for the last, 6, 7, 8 weeks.
Well, Coach, best of luck this Sunday
against
Drury.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck in the rest of the tournament. That's Lewis head soccer coach Evan Fiffles. His ball club enters the postseason play this Sunday afternoon as the number 4 seed. They will take on 5th-seeded Drury right here in Romeoville at Lewis Stadium. When we return, we'll preview the week ahead in Lewis Flyer athletics as Flyer Nation rolls on right after this timeout. Welcome back to Flyer Nation. A busy week ahead in the Lewis University athletics as it all kicks off later tonight. The women's basketball team will head downtown to play their final exhibition contest against the DePaul Blue Demons. Tip-off set for 5 o'clock inside Wintrust Arena. The women's volleyball team will put their 5-game winning streak on the line with a pair of road matches this weekend as the 21st-ranked Flyers invade Truman State on Friday night before visiting Missouri St. Louis on Saturday afternoon. The Flyers are 13-1 in GLVC play. Also on Saturday, the men's and women's cross-country teams will be in Evansville, Indiana to take part in the NCAA Division II Midwest Regional. The Flyers on the men's side enter the weekend ranked 11th in the nation, while the Lewis women check in at number 15 in the latest national polls. Then on Sunday, both soccer teams will kick off the GLVC tournament. The Flyer women will be in Springfield, Missouri to battle 2nd-seeded Drury at 12 noon, while the men will play host to Drury in opening round action. Kickoff set for 1 o'clock inside Lewis Stadium right here on the Romeoville campus. Don't forget, stay up to date with the latest in Flyer athletics at lewisflyers.com and on Twitter at lewisflyers. That'll do it for us this week. I'd like to thank Flyer head soccer coaches Evan Fiffles and Chris Koenig for being our guests this week. For our executive producer, John Kilpatrick, and our entire Flyer Nation crew, this is John Fitzgerald. We'll see you next week right here on Flyer Nation.